Alrighty folks, welcome back to day 3 of the Big Western Road Trip. Today we find ourselves in the heart of Missouri, known as the Show Me State, exploring Ha Ha Tonka State Park. This park is nestled along the stunning Lake of the Ozarks, one of the largest man-made lakes in the United States. Created back in 1931 by the construction of the Bagnell Dam, this massive lake spans over 54,000 acres with more shoreline than the entire coast of California. A fun fact, the lake's nickname, Magic Dragon, comes from its serpentine-like shape. Hahatonka became a state park back in 1978 and covers approximately 3,700 acres. It's an epic destination filled with unique karst formations, including caves, sinkholes, a massive natural bridge, and Hahatonka Spring, one of Missouri's largest, pumping out an impressive 50 million gallons of water daily. This geological wonderland is a must-see for any nature lover. Our goal today? Hiking to the ruins of the old stone castle that overlooks the lake. The castle was constructed in the early 20th century by wealthy Kansas City businessman Robert Snyder, who envisioned a European-style retreat. Tragically, Snyder passed away in a car accident before its completion. Later, a fire destroyed the structure in the 1940s, leaving behind the iconic ruins that still stand to this day, stabilized for preservation. These hauntingly beautiful remains offer a glimpse into history with breathtaking views of the Ozarks. But that's not all we'll be hiking to today. Along the way, we'll trek through a natural bridge spanning 60 feet and explore the lush woodlands filled with over 500 species of plants. We'll also be visiting Ha Ha Tonka Spring, a vibrant turquoise pool that's a highlight of the park. Today's hike covers over 7 miles through rugged scenic trails on a beautiful September day. So let's continue the road trip with another exploration and documentation of a unique state park. At this point, we have driven over 800 miles along our journey to Utah. So, as always, enough talking, let's get to hiking.
We were both bound. But I'm trying to do some more.
Alrighty folks, well good morning and welcome to our second destination for the Big Western Wedding Road Trip. I am currently here in the beautiful Show Me State, Missouri. Drove through St. Louis yesterday, crossed the Mississippi River into a new time zone, drove a little bit of Route 66 this morning, and here we are along the banks of the Lake of Ozarks. Pretty awesome morning view here of one of the back channels, or fingers as they call them here at the Lake of Ozarks. You can just see some sheer stone bluffs off in the distance as well as a viewpoint. We're going to be up there in just a few hours. But yeah, maybe if you're curious about the Lake of Ozarks, maybe you don't really know anything about it other than maybe watching this show Ozark. This lake is just huge. This was, I believe, the largest man-made lake when it was built in the world back in the 30s. 55,000 acres, and a lot of folks refer to this as the Missouri Dragon. If you look at it from the air, aerial images, maybe from space, this entire lake just looks like a crazy looking dragon. I'll show you a photo of it. But yeah, this is going to be our first stop of the day. We're going to be hiking to some old castle ruins, seeing some caves, and natural spring. So I think we're going to be hiking around 7 miles a day. It's going to be a good one. And then after this, we're going to wrap things up and drive 7 hours to Kansas. So yeah, check these views out. Beautiful. Yeah, so all that talking and information, and I think I totally forgot to mention where we are today. We are here in Ha Ha Tonka State Park, kind of in central Missouri. And I have to say, this has to be one of the most unique named areas that we've explored yet on Maximum Outdoors. So I'm gonna get the bag on. You can see Bertha over there. I had a little Instagram story that I posted yesterday for folks to name the van. And Debbie Hills, she's a big fan of the channel. She named it Bertha. I liked it, so we're gonna name the Pacifica Bertha for now on. So yeah, I'm gonna get the bag on and we are gonna get to hiking. We'll be up there in just a few hours. Well, before we get hiking, you could kind of make out this old foundation where this bridge goes across here. This was the site of an old mill, and there's a little bit of information about it right here. It said the original mill here was built in 1836. It burnt down. It provided corn and wheat flour for early settlers, and then they built a second mill that eventually they had to destroy in 1931 to make way for this lake. So yeah, the old mill would have sat right in this area. We've seen a lot of mills on this channel throughout the years, but this one's pretty unique considering that it used the water coming from the spring. And all kinds of different drainages and tributaries kind of just formed the Lake of Ozarks that would eventually be dammed back in 1931, making one of the largest tributaries in America and the world. So just all kinds of cool history here. So let's get to island hiking. What do you say? There was a sign that said balanced rock this way. I kind of bushwhack on through. I'm not sure if maybe this is balanced rock here. Get a nice look at one of the arms though of Lake of the Ozarks, as well as some of the other rolling hills off in the distance here in Missouri. But yeah, I said last week when I was in Indiana hiking Turkey Run State Park that one of the things I've been looking forward to the most for this Western road trip is just to see the change of environment and geology along this trip. And you can see that now. Obviously, it doesn't look like we're in Pennsylvania anymore. The geography, as well as the vegetation here, is a little bit different. Check out this tree here. This almost looks like maybe a cedar. I'm not sure. Don't really see these too often in PA. But yeah, definitely getting a sense that we are venturing further out west here. So I'm gonna find my way back onto the trail here, and we'll keep going. But yeah, cool little area, unique trees, and a great shot of the Lake of Ozarks. Decided to take this little spur trail. This is a dead end. There are some nice views of the water down below, and there's access to a cave here. Supposedly this area of Missouri is just chock full of natural caves from the sandstone, and there's a look at it. I guess they do let certain folks in there. Definitely not open to the public, as you can see, but no, I just wanted to come down and put eyes on it, that's all. Well, as you guessed, I'm still hiking along the island trail. Just came from down that hill there but wait till you see these views. I'll save the best for last. But off to my left, you get this very incredible view of one of the arms or forks here of the Lake of Ozarks. Some fishermen out there. And then behind me, check out this view. This is just that sheer bluff that we were looking at a couple minutes ago. We'll be on the top of this looking down in a couple minutes. But and then behind me, like I said, I wanted to save the best for last. This is where that spring feeds onto the lake here. Just crystal clear water. The sun isn't doing the best job at showing just how pristine and clear this water is. I'll go up and around to give you a better view, but yeah, island trail, it's awesome. Well, actually, before we do the spring trail, I have stumbled upon this nice little signage here, kind of just describing how this area was sculpted over thousands of years. So as I said earlier, this area of Missouri is just notorious for its cave systems. This entire area behind us here would have been a giant cave, and thousands of years ago, the roof would have just collapsed in, forming what we're standing in now. The stream or the spring would have kind of just trickled out. The natural island that we just hiked on would have just been isolated. Wouldn't have really been an island, just a big hill from all the debris that would have caved in. And then eventually, as you know, they formed this lake back in the 1930s, filling up this entire valley. And we have what we have today. You can see the castle even up on the hill. But yeah, a little information about how this area was formed. Well, as you guess, we have made it here to the, I guess we'll call this the tailwaters of the spring. Just an absolutely magical looking area here in central Missouri. You can see a couple Canadian geese, some mallards off in the distance. I even seen a muskrat hanging out. There he goes, actually right there. Muskrat kind of just going in and out of these weeds here. This is pretty darn awesome. I don't think this water gets warmer than, I want to say 55 degrees all year round. So definitely not a hot spring. We're going to go up a little bit further and I will show you where the water actually starts to seep out of the sandstone. So let's go check that out. Well, continuing along the spring trail, here is yet another view. Check this out. It is just a waterfowl party this morning. Canadian geese, mallards, wood ducks, you name it. Just a gorgeous area. You can even see some caves up in the side of the karst there, I guess we'll call it. But yeah, this would have been just a giant cave way back in the day. There is a little informational board here telling you a little bit about this spring. It is Missouri's 12th largest. It puts out nearly 58 million gallons of water a day, hence the current. I mean, there is a visible current coming through here. And yeah, it allows growth of large beds of underwater plants that we see. And just an amazing area here. Yeah, this is Missouri. And here we are. We've made it to the end of the spring trail and the beginning of the spring itself. That water pretty much just oozes out of this rock right in front of me here. Looks to be about 15 foot deep. At least that's what the sign says. But yeah, all 58 million gallons of that water that comes out here daily comes right from here. Pretty crazy. And this is only the 12th largest spring in the entire state. Kind of curious to see what the largest one would be. But yeah, after this, we are going to be just ascending up, looks like 200 vertical feet using these steps here up to the old ruins of a castle. So Unfortunately, we'll have to backtrack. We'll see this one more time. But yeah, I just wanted to show you the area where this spring originates from, right here, all that water. Continuing up the seemingly endless set of stairs here, here's your first view of the old water tower. Definitely has a European vibe to it. Looks like it's a glorified pigeon coop right now though. But yeah, we'll be up there in just a few seconds, so I'll see you up there. All right, well, before we get to the water tower up on the hill here, behind me, I have a nice little overlook known as Whispering Dell that kind of gives you a size comparison of the chasm that we just traversed through. So down below me would be the spring, but this is just kind of a top-down look at what would have happened when that cave would have collapsed in. You can see the lake of the Ozarks off in the distance there, but this would have just been kind of a big shell before ultimately it collapsed on down into the valley below. So kind of a cool stop, but yeah, let's get to the water tower. Another nice view of one of the arms of the lake of Ozarks off in the distance, and you can see the water tower just up another flight of steps here. Before I get up there, I figured I would talk to you a little bit about some of the information on this board here. So it was all gravity fed water. The water would have been stored up here and kind of just pushed along to the castle off in the distance here. And they used a hydraulic ram pump that ran all the way down to the spring we were at earlier. So it would have ran all the way down there, just pulling water up to fill up the top of that water tower. All right, and here we are at the base of the old water tower, built in the early 1900s. Like I said earlier, this would have supplied water to the castle that we're going to be visiting here in a couple seconds. Unfortunately, vandals burnt down the innards of the structure back in 1976. But let's take a peek in and we will go check out the castle. Well, this is definitely the happening area of the park here, but right in front of me here you can see the carriage house. The water tower is off to the right. A little information about it says you are standing in front of the ruins of the carriage house slash stable that housed the estate caretakers, 100 horses and 30 cars. Unfortunately, on October 21st, 1942, embers from the castle caught its roof on fire, and it stands the way it is today. You can even see some of the black brick from the fire off to the side there. But yeah, hard to imagine 100 horses and 30 cars in this little area. So I'll show you a little bit more of the carriage house, and then we're gonna head up that way and check out the old castle that was built by a Kansas City businessman. All right, well, if you can make out that parking lot off in the distance, you can see Bertha. That's where we parked at earlier this morning, looking up upon this viewpoint that I'm standing at now. Just gonna take a couple seconds here and just show you this. You can see the spring off down below a few hundred feet, but yeah, Ha Ha Tonka State Park, Missouri. Pretty darn awesome. Well, this was once quite the structure here, and definitely one of the cooler ruins that we've ever explored on the channel. I'll take you all around the perimeter of this old castle that was unfortunately burned down in 1942. See all the arches along the pathways. I'm not sure if this would have been the main entrance to the house or not, but definitely at least 3 stories high. Well, if this was the main entrance, I'll take you around to the back side of the castle. Looks like they have a nice little veranda seating area. Looks like a really big fire pit that they probably would have parties and overlook the lake. This would have been a very beautiful spot to hang out at. Some more arches, and you can see some of the intricate layers of the stone inside. It goes pretty far down, and you can even make out looks like a fireplace off in the distance there. But yeah, this is just what I'm assuming is the front of the castle. So let's loop on around and see what else we see on the other side. Yeah, if only walls could talk. I'm now thinking that this might be the main entrance here that obviously has collapsed in over the years. You can see where the fire would have just burst out of the windows here back in the 40s. So yeah, I'm thinking that this might be the main entrance. And like I said, you could just see the intricate walls and even basement, it looks like, down there. The 2 main fireplaces directly across from where I'm standing right now. But just off in the distance there is the Quarry trail. A lot of workers would have brought the rock from that quarry up to the castle, and I'm going to be taking you down there and checking that out. So we'll get on there next. All right, well, one last view of the castle. We are going to head on to the Quarry trail. Definitely worth the stop. From what I read, this might be one of the best premier parks in Missouri. So this was kind of the highlight. This is the reason why I came here, to check out the castle. So mission success. So let's hit the trail. We're going to keep our eyes peeled and try to find one of those old quarries that helped develop and build the castle up on the hill. But yeah, this video has a lot of weird noises, a lot of airplanes, a lot of people. So I do apologize if this isn't your typical Maxim Outdoors adventure. But I also do want to say thank you to each and every one of you out there that just view these videos on a week-to-week basis. And thank you for joining me on probably my biggest adventure yet, and probably ever will be, as I head out west to get married. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to each and every one of you. Whether you like the video, leave me a comment, support the Patreon. You guys all just are the reason I'm out here. So let's continue along the Quarry Trail here in Hahatonka State Park. Well, as you can see, the Quarry Trail has opened up a bit. It's pretty exposed here as we navigate along this ridge top. You can hear some dogs and boats down along the lakeside, but definitely a pretty interesting looking area up here. All kind of wildflower, goldenrod. You can hear some bugs. I'm sure if there were rattlesnakes in Missouri, this is probably where they would be behind that. But yeah, I just wanted to stop and show you this pretty interesting section of the trail here. Oh, look at that. Well, we are probably a good 3/4 of the way through the Quarry Trail, and I was beginning to wonder if we would even see a quarry. But as you can see behind me, here's the sign. And if you take a closer look, you would notice that this isn't a geological spot. This is where those guys from Scotland would have came over, tore up the land, made block and the walls for that big old castle that we saw earlier, and this is what remains. Pretty small quarry from compared to other ones that I've seen back in PA. But yeah, all the stone walls and structure that we've seen from the castle would have been dug up right in this area. And just like that, we have arrived here along the Coliseum Trail. This will be our last trail of the day before we head on back to Bertha and hit the road for 6 to 7 hours on our way to Kansas. And I do want to say this, if you want to check that video out, make sure you subscribe, because you're not going to believe your eyes, and you're not going to believe where I'm heading tomorrow is in Kansas. It's that awesome. So yeah, we're going to continue on down the trail. We're going to keep our eyes out for the geologic formation known as the Coliseum. I think this might be one of the most underrated areas here in the park. So let's go find the Coliseum. What do you say? All right, well, I might have saved the best for last. We are here on the Coliseum Trail, and check this view out behind me here. This is what they call a natural bridge, formed over years of just water eating away at this rock. And another little fun fact is on the other side, it is a seasonal waterfall. So if you come here in the spring, or maybe during some snow melt off, you'd be able to see a little trickle of the falls here. But yeah, I'm gonna take you on through here along the Coliseum Trail. Definitely an underrated section of this park. Check this out. But yeah, this won't be the last arch or natural bridge I'll be showing you along this road trip. So much bigger in person. Wow. All right, let's keep going. Well, we are going to bid adieu to the Coliseum Trail, and as you can see behind me here, we have made it back to the grand staircase that we hiked up earlier. So I figured this would be a good time to wrap up this video. So in this little adventure here in Missouri, we've seen everything from natural bridges to natural springs, a castle ruin, and a ton of cool wildlife. So yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying my big road trip out west. And as I said, I'll be heading to Kansas right after this. So if you aren't already, please hit that subscribe button, and you'll be able to see the rest of this crazy road trip. So, all right, folks, thanks for joining me on day 2 here in Missouri. See you next week.